what I receive. Blessing from God is that relationship as I grow close to Him and I become under His divine protection. I come under His divine consecration or separation for His using. When I'm blessed of God, it's because He has chosen me and is using me. God wants to bless you by using you. He wants to bless you by separating you and calling you to something that only you can do. And I've said it over and over again, in this room is the potential to do so much more than I could ever imagine or think of. There are those of you who sit in this room who God is calling, and you're doing things that are so amazing. And I just want to encourage you, do what He's called you to do. Do what He's blessed you to do. Mike and Aaron, He's blessed you to reach the 1%ers. Brandon and Samantha, He's blessed you to reach Turkey. Others of you that God has blessed you to do things and has called you to do, that is God's blessing upon you. God has blessed you to do that. And can I tell you, when you get to heaven and you stand before Him, you won't regret a moment's time that you spent chasing that blessing that He's put into your life. Because He's blessed you with that. And whether that blessing is in persecution or that blessing is in insulting, or God has blessed you. And He desires to bless you. And can I tell you that if we will pursue that calling, if we will pursue that blessing, then He's going to add everything else unto us. Look, quite frankly, and I'm going to talk more next week about this, but quite frankly, sometimes God doesn't bless us with stuff is because we can't handle the stuff, whatever the stuff you want to put in there. I told you earlier, He's more concerned about our growth. He's more concerned about our obedience than He is about our comfort. God isn't in the business of just simply giving you your wish list. He wants you to be obedient. He wants to bless your obedience. And we can't have, and sometimes, and this may shock you, He can't even bless us spiritually because we can't handle it. So what are you saying, Pastor? Well, here's the deal. Some of us want to have an experience. We want to maybe hear an audible voice from God, or we want to, whatever it is, and we've heard these great experiences. But God knows that if He blesses you with that and He uses you and He consecrates you and He separates you with that, then it'll become more about you doing it than about Him. Takes a heart check. God desires to bless us. Sometimes He doesn't bless us in the ways that we'd like to be blessed because that's not what He's called us to do. That's not the area He's wanting us to bless us in. I mean, I would have loved to have been blessed to be a professional football player. It's not where He called me to be. Seeking His blessing is seeking His heart. What are the takeaways? First takeaway this morning is that God really does want to bless you. He really does. It may not look like you expect it to look like, but if you're willing to be obedient and faithful, He'll bless you. He will bless you. He'll knock your socks off with blessings. And you'll look back and you'll say, man, I can't believe you blessed me this way. Second takeaway is this. Is your life a life that God can bless? Is your life a life that God can bless? That's a challenge for me. God, I want your blessings. Let my life be a life that you can bless. Let me understand when I am receiving your blessings, so that I don't have preconceived notions or preconceived ideals of what a blessing should look like, but really to understand when your blessings are flowing out of me and through me. Is your life a life that God can bless? And then the third takeaway is this. It's really the same thing that I said last week, and I'll end probably every message that I have during this series on this. That if you aren't in relationship with Jesus, then you're not blessed. It's a pretty blunt statement. You may have the wealth of Bill Gates, you may have the power of Donald Trump, but you're not blessed if you don't know Jesus. You may have all the stuff that your heart longs for. Without Jesus, you're not blessed. It's just stuff. It's just stuff. Because Jesus is the ultimate, the pinnacle blessing that God gave to you and I. Loretta, if you'll come, please. It's out of that relationship that every other blessing flows. It's out of that relationship that every other blessing flows. When I know Him. When I know Him. Stand to your feet with me this morning.